Hello everyone. I'm doing a video here. I came home and I had this package I got in the mail this morning. I came home a while ago and a friend of mine named Mike, I'm just going to call him Mike because I want to protect his privacy. Um, but Mike had seen a video I'd done a while back, and I was talking about my nephew had got into collecting sports cards, and Mike messaged me on Facebook and asked me if I cared if he sent a few cards to help my nephew's collection along. And I'd been talking about hunting Red Sox cards for my nephew, and I've been putting together some stuff for him for Christmas. And I had also been buying some cards here, there, and there on eBay of Hall of Fame players and older cards from when I was younger, and planning on putting them back and giving my nephew when he was a little bit older. Well, I was actually like, when Mike asked me, I was like, sure, Mike, that'd be fine. I gave him my mailing address, and Mike was like, you might want to, the days he shipped them out, I think about 3 days ago, he sent me a message. He said, you might want to look through these when you get them before you give them to your nephew. And I was like, okay, sure, And my first thought, honestly, when I got this morning was I was going to just wrap it up and tell my nephew on Christmas that this was from my buddy Mike to him. And I remembered Mike saying, open it up, check them out. So I thought, okay, so I cut the tape when I got home a little bit ago, and I opened it up, and I was amazed at what I found, and I wanted to share it uh, with some of my friends and my viewers in the video here. And before I get started, I just want to say this. This really touched my heart, and I tried to do a video on this about an hour ago, and I actually broke down in tears when I saw what all that my buddy Mike had sent. Because there is actually a lot of value in this box here, and I know that Mike has been going through a hard time, and this really meant a lot to me that Mike, um, took time out of his day with everything he's been going through, and uh, you know, just wanted to do something nice for my nephew and for me. And I want to ask all of you viewers out there. I know most of you don't know me, and you sure don't know my buddy Mike, but God knows us all. And I'd like to ask you all, if you're watching this video, please say a prayer for my buddy Mike. He lost his wife a couple of months ago, and I know what he's going through because I lost a wife um, back in 2004. Passed away early as well, and unexpected. And I know Mike's going through a hard time, and Mike is a great guy. And if there was, I just wanted to ask you to, please say a prayer for my friend Mike. And Mike, I want to thank you for this. And I'm going to get started on this because Mike sent some beautiful, beautiful cards here, and I wanted to share them in a video as a way to say thank you, Mike. And he sent me this note that he put on top of the box, and I'll read it. It says, "Hey Matthew, check the backs of the 89 Trammell, 87 Tops Gwen in the top loads. They are cool airs. Hope you guys enjoy the lot. Merry Christmas, Mike." And Mike, I just want to thank you, and I want you to know I did before. I tried to do this video earlier, and I broke down, so I'm trying it again here. And I did take time to put a lot of Mike had sent some cards that were in top loads and some that was in a team bag. I took time to put a lot of the ones that was in the team bag in some top loads, the more valuable ones. I run out of top loads, so I'm going to pick some more top loads up tomorrow when I go out and put the rest of these in some top loads, because all of these cards are pretty much Hall of Fame players or cards that have, some pretty good value, even if they're not Hall of Fame players. Okay, I don't want to make this video last forever, but I do want to show these nice cards Mike sent, so I'm going to get started here. The first card is an 87 Tony Gwynn Topps. Tony Gwynn's a Hall of Famer. He was a great hitter for most of his career, and here's the era Mike was talking about. It's a misback error card. It says Mark Sullivan, who was a catcher, I believe, for the Boston Red Sox. And as you notice, the front of the card looks very much, like a pretty well-centered card. It's kind of amazing. Sometimes, these things happen, printing errors, when they're making cards, And that was one of those issues. It's what you call an error card. And that was not an error card that was a fixed error. That was just one that they, it just happened. And they probably corrected it eventually, but it was a printing error on the backs. Right here is this card, Alan Trammell, he was talking about. This is an 89 upper deck. And I'm trying to hold it where you can see it for the glare a little bit there. But Alan Trammell, great shortstop on the back here. If you can see it, it's been like double printed. They actually printed, I don't think you can maybe make that out, but Raphael Belliard is printed over top of the Alan Trammell. And they kind of, it's kind of like what happened was cards probably got jammed going down the line, and as the cards were, the machine was trying to pull them on down, the next card behind this one on the sheet before they were cut was probably Raphael Belliard. The cards probably got jammed, and so the printer part of the machine printed Raphael Belliard back right over top of the Alan Trammell. That is a rarity, and those are the two cool error cards Mike mentioned in the note, that if I had went ahead and wrapped this box up, I wouldn't even have got the note until Christmas time. The next two cards he had sent, this is a beautiful Michael Jordan card from back in his days at University of North Carolina. This was from a 1990 set of cards called Collegiate College Collection. Just about every well, I don't know if every college, but a lot of major colleges, they made sets of that year, some basketball, some football. Greatest athletes that ever played at the college. And this Jordan is a very nice one. I had some of these years ago before I sold my collection off. And this is a very nice card for my nephew's collection. Thank you, Mike. And here is another Michael Jordan. This is a 96 upper deck, I believe. That's later in his career with the Bulls after he was into the pros. These cards here on the back Mike had in the box. This is a 75 Topps Dwight Evans when he was very young. Now that'll be right up my nephew's alley. Great Red Sox fan, big Red Sox fan. Dwight Evans was a big-time player for the Red Sox. He was not their biggest superstar. He was overshadowed back in the 70s by Carl Yastrzemski, Jim Rice, Carlton Fisk, and many other stars. Dwight Evans was not a superstar, but he was a star in his own right. He put up big numbers for about 2 decades. And he was known for being a great defensive right fielder and having a cannon arm. This guy could throw from the outfield about like Nolan Ryan could pitch, but he could hit too. The sad thing for Dwight Evans to me, in 1989, the Boston Red Sox were pinching pennies. They were they were a contending team, but they were trying to go a little bit younger, and they were trying to phase out the older Red Sox. Jim Rice's contract had run out, and they cut ties with Rice, and he ended up pretty much that was the end of his career. Dwight Evans was not ready to retire yet, and Boston had already tried to move him to first base, and that wasn't working out. He ended up getting a low ball offer from the Red Sox, who were pinching pennies, and he ended up signing for more money with Baltimore and finishing his career with a team that was one of Boston's arch rivals for years. And I hate that. He should have been a career Red Sox, but that's the way it goes. Here's another card of 79 Topps, second-year card of Blue Whitaker. Very nice. You can't really see it that good for the glare, and I'm sorry about that. It's the time of day I'm doing this video. And that's a really nice card. Now, these other cards Mike had put into a team bag. I did manage to I did get all these here that I'll go through in a second in plastic sleeves. These right here I went ahead and put in top loads before I run out, and I'll get some more top loads tomorrow. This is a T206 Honus Wagner. Yes, there you go, my friends. My buddy Mike has sent a $500,000 card for my nephew. This is a reprint, but it is in mint condition, and I have seen these reprints in mint condition actually sell for a right nice price. Especially some people even grade the reprints. For those of you who don't know baseball, this card, the originals are about a little over 100 years old, and this right here was considered the holy grail of baseball cards because there's only about 50 some known to even exist in the world, and if you have one of these, even if it's not in the greatest shape, if you had an original one, some of those things sell at auction. I'm talking about auctions after the kind of auctions you'd see on Antique Roadshow, and some that they talk about. Some of those cards have sold for $500,000 or more. Right here is a refractor. This is a more modern, I think, early 2000s Jackie Robinson. Beautiful refractor card that Mike sent, and that's a great card to give to my nephew. Right here is a couple of Cal Ripken Jr.'s who was in the Hall of Fame. Ripken Jr. is one of my favorites growing up. One of these is the 86 Topps All-Star. The other's an 88 Donruss All-Star card. And I want to thank Mike for those. Here's a 1982 Topps from the 81 season. It says 81 highlights. Nolan Ryan, Ryan Express Hall of Famer. Great card. Thank you for that, Mike. Here's another Hall of Famer that I loved growing up, Steve Carlton. They called him Lefty. Over 300 game winner, just like Nolan Ryan. Here's a Red Sox that should be in the Hall of Fame, Roger Clemens. He's not in the Hall of Fame because late in his career, he tainted his career by steroid use. This was my favorite player growing up as a child. Michael Jack Schmidt, greatest power-hitting third baseman of all time. And he also wasn't shabby. He's overshadowed by Brooks Robinson for defensive third baseman, best defensive third baseman of all time. But Mike Schmidt won like 9 Gold Gloves, so he was no, he wasn't exactly a pushover on defense. Here's another Nolan Ryan, beautiful card from the early 90s with Texas. This is a cool card, and I'm tickled Mike put this in here. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. It's a card of Larry Bird, the basketball star. He's at Indiana State on the baseball field, and he actually played 1 game of baseball at Indiana State, and that's a cool card. Very cool. Thanks for that, Mike. My nephew should really like that, and even my niece, because she's a basketball crazy girl, and she knows all about Larry Bird. Here's another cool Nolan Ryan from 1989 Upper Deck. As you can see, it shows him going through his pitching motion all in the same card. A very cool card. Those cards actually had cool photos front and back. Now we get into some older cards Mike sent, a little bit older. These are 1982 Fleer Hall of Famer Tom Seaver. Very beautiful card. These cards are also in mint condition. I wasn't expecting Mike to send this much value. Here is Reggie Jackson, Dave Winfield combo card for the Yankees. Very beautiful card. Here's another Hall of Famer, Ricky Henderson, in his younger days with the A's. And again, I'm sorry for the lighting outside here. I was hoping it would be better on these. Here's Burt Blyleven with the Indians, guy who probably had the best curveball in Major League Baseball for about 2 decades. Here's some Red Sox that are Hall of Famers. Jim Rice, Dennis Eckersley, the Eggman with that high leg kick there on that pitching motion. I used to love to watch him pitch. Here's another Hall of Famer, Ferguson Jenkins. He's kind of forgotten now. He retired in about 83 or 84. Jenkins, great pitcher most of the late 60s, entire decade of the 70s. Here's a young Ryan Sandberg. This is from 86 Fleer. Beautiful card. Beautiful card. Here's another one from the same set. Tony Gwynn, another Hall of Famer. Beautiful cards. And here's one from 81 Donruss. Johnny Bench, who in my opinion is probably one of the best hitting catchers ever. Mike, thank you. These cards are beautiful, and my nephew's going to love them, and I really appreciate this, and I know he will too. And my plan is, if I'm able to, when my nephew opens these, I'm going to do another little video with him opening them. This video is getting long, so I'm going to try to go through these quick here. Here's a Fernando Valenzuela rookie card that Mike sent. Dave Stewart rookie card that Mike sent. Here is, I think this is from 68 to sometime between 1960, late 60s to 1970. It's a top scratch off. They were insert cards. It might have been from the earlier 60s. Boog Powell played from about the mid 60s through the mid 70s, and he was a funny character of a player just for the name alone. But anyway, that's an old card. It was in great shape, and it's a little bit too big for a top load because I was going to put it in one. So I'm going to get it a little bit thicker card protector to put that in. Andre Dawson, 82 Fleer, Hall of Famer. Here's another card of Mike Schmidt. This was when he retired, and this was a card that I think Upper Deck put, or it might have been, I can't remember for sure. But anyway, it was right at the end of his career, about 1989, 1990. Here's a 82 Topps Steve Garvey. Garvey's not in the Hall of Fame, but he was a very good player for a long time. Another guy not in the Hall of Fame, but a very good pitcher for about a decade, Ron Guidry. Gator Guidry, they called him. He was one of my dad's favorites. My dad was a big Yankee fan. Here is a more recent Hank Aaron issue. Beautiful card. Hank Aaron, of course, home run king there forever until the steroids, era come along and somebody finally surpassed him. And right here is four of my favorite player of all time, Mike Schmidt. All of these beautiful, beautiful cards. Beautiful. Just, I mean, this is one. Look how young he looks there. I mean, these are just beautiful cards. And here is one of Roger Maris. This is a more recent edition, too. But Roger Maris, the former single season home run king. And here is a hologram you probably can't see very well of Jeff Bagwell from his rookie year. Back in these days, in the early 90s, when this card was made, these cards were the insert cards all the kids wanted. There was no such thing as, they hadn't started coming out with all the autographed inserts and the game used jersey inserts, really. So hologram cards were the big deal back then. Here's some more 89 Upper Deck, George Brett, Hall of Famer, great player from the 70s and 80s. And here's the greatest athlete of late 80s, early 90s, Bo Jackson. Bo knows commercials, Nike commercials from back in those days. He was a two-sport star, for those that don't remember, and played for the L.A. Raiders, star running back, as well as the All-Star for the Kansas City Royals. Here's Ricky Henderson, Hall of Famer with the Yankees. Ozzie Smith, best defensive shortstop ever. Some people argue that Luke Appling of the Chicago White Sox back in the 50s and 60s was, but I never got to see Luke Appling play, but Ozzie Smith was definitely the best of my generation. Here's Robin Yount, great hitting shortstop who wasn't that bad defensively either, and he played in the outfield later in his career. Tom Glavine, this is a younger Tom Glavine, second-year card when he's a 300-game winner. Kirby Puckett, whose career was shortened due to injury, but he was nevertheless a great hitter, great player. Red Sox great Wade Boggs, 3,000 hit club, Hall of Famer. Great card for my nephew. Here's another Hall of Famer, Frank Thomas, 91 Fleer. The Big Hurt, they called him. Basher of a hitter. Here's another Tony Gwynn, 91 Topps. Here's a catcher about like Johnny Bench as far as like his generation. Definitely the best hitting catcher of the last 20 years. Mike Piazza, or actually the last 30 years, and arguably along with Bench, the best hitting catchers ever. Here's an A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, the steroid king. This is him with Texas, and that looks like a right beautiful card. Mark McGwire, another steroid user. Career was tainted by it. Here's Roger Maris again. Younger looking Maris there, beautiful card. Here's another Lou Whitaker, beautiful card. Here's a Billy Buckner, who played for the Red Sox, but this is him with the Cubs. Ted Simmons, who was a big offensive catcher as well back in the 70s and early 80s. Here's a Leo DeRocher card. Nice card of an old-timer. Johnny Mize, another old-timer, old-time great. Red Sox star for a few years who injuries cut short his productivity. Nomar Garcia Parra. That's a good one for my nephew. And this was a little team lot of Pittsburgh Pirates from the 1971 season. Here's Roberto Clemente. Here is Al Oliver, who I used to love as a kid. He wasn't a superstar, but I liked him. Manny Sanguillen and Pops Willie Stargell. And Mike, again, I want to thank you so much for these cards, buddy. My nephew is going to love these, and I really can't wait to watch him go through these. And like I said, I run out of top loads because I just didn't have. I thought I had more than that at the house already, but I'm going to pick up some more tomorrow and put these other ones in here. I did have enough top sleeves easily, plastic sleeves to house them for now. But thank you so much, buddy. These cards are beautiful. And I really appreciate it, Mike. And I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas, man. And I hope you, I hope you have a great Christmas, buddy. And I'm grateful to you, and I'm so thankful. I don't know how I'll ever thank you. And this is the second time I had to do this video because I broke down crying the first time I tried to do it. Thank you so much, man. And thank all you viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you've seen some cool cards that you like. And I'll be back later on with other videos in the near future. Thanks for watching.